Hello YouTube, and hello Durga. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan. Good evening to all of you in YouTube land. I hope wherever you are happy, healthy, safe, and well. You and yours are happy, healthy, safe, and well. So, it is my pleasure to present to all of you the third and final video in my series of videos about the Siren song Divination Kit. Co-created by Toni Savory, formerly known as Toni Puhle, more commonly known as the Card Geek, and Carrie Paris. And Tina Hardt, who I still don't know how she figures in this kit. So if anybody in YouTube land knows, please let me know how Tina Hardt is involved in this project, because I still have not found out. I still haven't figured it out, and I'm like, how is she involved? Me no sé, I don't know. But anyway, this is the box. Sturdy box. And of course, I just thought of Six of Wands because she loathes and despises tuck boxes. I don't know what it is. It's like every time I find a really good box, I think of her. And of course, when I see a tuck box, I think of her. So Six of Wands, hello out there in YouTube land. I hope you're doing well. Would love to hear from you again. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is just give you some final tips, recommendations, messages, things to consider. I cannot overemphasize the importance of remembering to remain in the appropriate headspace. Lenormand and Kipper are neither tarot decks nor oracle card decks. And for those of you who have a tarot background, you will notice, if you are studying Lenormand, if you are learning Lenormand, if you have been using Lenormand, that there are 4 cards that traditionally appear in a Lenormand deck that also traditionally appear in a tarot deck. And they are the Sun, the Moon, the Stars. In tarot it's usually called the Star, in Lenormand it's usually called the Stars, and the Tower. Of those 4 cards, the 2 that are vastly different from each other are the Tower cards. The Tower card in Tarot and the Tower card in Lenormand are vastly different. Of those 4 cards, the 2 that are the most similar are the Sun cards in Tarot and in Lenormand. So, and then of course you have the Moon and the Stars. The Moon in the Tarot and the Moon in Lenormand are also very different. They're not vastly different like the 2 Tower cards, but they're pretty close. The Star card in Tarot and the Stars card in Lenormand, they have some similarities, but they're not kissing cousins, okay? So I cannot overemphasize the importance that when you use this divination kit, whether you are using the Siren song Kipper deck or the Siren song Lenormand, or both at the same time, or alternating between the 2, that you remain in the appropriate headspace. There are some who could argue that Lenormand and Kipper fall into the category of oracle cards. They really don't, because they are a separate card reading system, just like tarot is a separate card reading system, and oracle cards are a separate card reading system, and classical cartomancy, which is more commonly known as playing card divination, is another separate card reading system. The same applies to Lenormand and Kipper, or Kipper and Lenormand. So keep in mind that when you're using a Kipper deck, any Kipper deck, but especially the Siren song Kipper deck, it is imperative you be in a Kipper headspace. If you are using the Siren song Lenormand deck or any Lenormand deck, and specifically Petit Lenormand, which are the smaller cards, because there is another type of Lenormand deck called Le Grand Lenormand, which are the larger cards. That's a different headspace too. So when you use these decks, remember to be in the appropriate headspace. Do not look at the Tower card in Lenormand and think that's the Tower card in Tarot, because it is not. I know that part of me feels like a broken record saying this because I said this in the very first video, but it bears repeating. Absolutely keep in mind that you are using a different card reading system. You're not using tarot, you're not using oracle cards, you're using either Kipper or Lenormand or both. For the record, I have conducted readings with Lenormand, I've conducted readings with Kipper, and I've conducted readings where I've used both in the same reading for the same client. So absolutely keep that in mind. That's number one. Number two, there are very few books in English about Kipper. Toni Savory wrote a book called The Kipper Deck, or The Kipper Book. Virtually every time that I want to buy it, it's out of stock or out of print, and I do not know German. So reading a book in German is not going to work for me. What I will say is that there is a beautiful Kipper book titled The Art of Kipper Reading, Decoding Powerful Messages by Alexandre Musrock. And it is one of the few books in English written about Kipper cards. So I'm going to have, well, I presume they can see it? Okay. I'm going to include some information about this. And for the record, this book, which I'm taking my time with this book because there's a lot of information to absorb. And just because Kipper reading is a similar card reading system to Lenormand, I don't want to breeze through it, which is why I am still in the very first portion of the book. But there is a section in this book which I love, and it lists the different correspondences between Lenormand and Kipper. For example, the Rider card in Lenormand corresponds to a rich man in Kipper and a journey in Kipper. I'm going to actually list all of these on this entire page. I'm gonna transcribe this in the description box. It will make for a very lengthy description box. And I just remembered that the description box has a character limit of 5,000 characters. So, you know, I'd rather not continue it in the comments. It might come down to that. I might actually need to do an additional comment where I list them. I'm not sure yet. When I start uploading this video, then I'll know. But that way, that will be a nice resource for all of you who are learning Lenormand and or learning Kipper. I'm also going to recommend, because a lot of books on Lenormand and Kipper have a section in the back that has journal pages. Like, for example, these are the daily Kipper card draws in this book. And you'll notice 3 cards. Kipper and Lenormand are 2 card reading systems where pulling a card for the day one card for the day really doesn't provide a lot of information. 3 cards absolutely does. Yes, it's a little more time consuming by 2 additional cards, but it gives you a complete picture. Those of you who have watched videos that I've done previously about Lenormand, you know that I'm always raving about Lisa Young-Sutton and her YouTube channel, Lisa Loves Lenormand. And in several of her videos where she's pulled cards for messages from the universe, she will pull 3 cards. So when it comes to using Lenormand and when it comes to using Kipper, it is about pulling 3 cards, not 1, not 2, but 3. And you certainly do not have to ask anything major. You can, but you're not required to do that. One of my absolute favorite questions to ask the few times that I have a reading, and one of the best questions that a client can ask when they're having a reading, whether it's with me or somebody else, is what do I need to know right now? And you can certainly customize that question. What do I need to know about my career right now? What do I need to know about my university studies right now? What do I need to know about my romantic relationship prospects right now? What do I need to know about my children now? What do I need to know about my neighbors now? You can customize this question in a myriad of ways, but it is probably one of the best questions to ever ask during a reading, and certainly in using a divination system. I will include, this book is published by Red Wheel Weiser. Red Feather, which is an imprint of Schiffer Publishing. I stand corrected. So Red Feather, Mind, Body, Spirit is an imprint of Schiffer Publishing. So I will include a link to the book and the deck, because this comes with a deck that was also created by Alexandre Muzrak. And incidentally, Mr. Muzrak also wrote a book about Lenormand. I do not have it yet. He also created a Lenormand deck. I do not have that one yet either. But I do want to add them to the collection because it would give me some additional information about Lenormand. And I'm long overdue to read a new book about Lenormand. And when I say a new book, I mean a book that I have not yet read, a book that would be new to me to read. But lately I've been focusing more on reading about playing card divination because I feel like I haven't read enough books about playing card divination. Anyway, and I would also say, so definitely keep a journal with regards to your insights about the cards, fun facts that you learn about the cards. As I've mentioned in all of these videos and even in previous videos that I've done on my YouTube channel, the Card Geek, Toni Savory, more formally known as Toni Puhle, she does a lot of videos about Kipper, about Lenormand. So her YouTube channel is an amazing resource, and I will definitely include a link to it in the description box for this video. Aside from that, I would say take your time. If you are new to Kipper, if you are new to Lenormand, then absolutely take your time connecting with these decks. I would say also allow yourself to build up gradually. I did not do my very first Grand Tableau, which is traditionally associated with Lenormand, although it can be used with Kipper as well, until maybe 1.5 years after I began learning Lenormand. And to this day, almost 4 years later, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I've been learning and studying Lenormand for about 4 years at this point, I think I've only done 2 Grand Tableaux. Lenormand only, because I didn't know at the time that one could use Grand Tableau with Kipper. So it is not something that I take on lightly. It is not something that I do all the time. I'm a bit overdue to do a Grand Tableau for myself, but I would say build up to it. Start with 3 card pulls, 1, 2, 3. I usually do first card in the middle, second card to the left of that, and third card to the right. Or first card in the middle, card number 1 in the middle, card number 2 to the left of card number 1, and card number 3 to the right of card number 1. That's how Lisa Young-Sutton does it. That's how she's done it on her YouTube channel. And it works for me. It gives me an additional insight. But you can do 1, 2, 3, or you can even do 1, 2, 3. You can even do 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. However you're guided and led, go for it. If you want to do 1, 2, 3 going up, or 1, 2, 3 going down, go for it. Do it diagonal. However you're guided and led, follow that guidance and leading. And I really don't know what else to say about that. I don't know what else to say, but other than that, I definitely want to thank Toni Savory and Carrie Paris and Tina Hardt for co-creating this divination kit. I want to thank Wiser Books for publishing it. I want to thank Alexandre Muzrak for his Lenormand books, for his Lenormand deck, his Kipper book, his Kipper deck, and of course I want to thank Red Feather Schiffer Publishing for publishing it. To all of you in YouTube land, thank you so much for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel, and an extra big and beautiful and bountiful thank you to those of you who have already scheduled your sessions. Stay in tune with your intuition, stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video.